Afe-Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has withdrawn the criminal defamation suit filed against author and lawyer Dele Farotimi. Babalola had previously petitioned the Ekiti State Police, alleging that Farotimi defamed him in his book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. This petition led to Farotimi's arrest and subsequent trial for alleged criminal defamation and cyberbullying. In the early hours of Monday, the legal icon decided to withdraw the case following the intervention of the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and other prominent traditional leaders. Babalola expressed his dismay over Farotimi's accusation that he won all his cases through corrupt practices, which was why he initially rejected earlier pleas to drop the case. However, he ultimately agreed to the intervention of the revered traditional authorities. We are now joined by lawyer and activist Justice Ojienoh. Justice joins us from our studio here in Lagos to discuss this development. Thank you so much for joining us, Justice.
It's a pleasure to join you, Dasha.
Now, Mr. Ojienoh, how did the news of the withdrawal come to you?
I'm extremely elated. And it so happened, it's such a coincidence that the time I heard that he was being picked up, I was also on air with Mazino on this illustrious station. So it's a very, very happy thing for me, so long as the dirty linen of the judiciary in Nigeria is not put in public, is not on trial. I feel that there are better ways to handle or manage the challenges that the system is having than for everything to be put in the open view and for it to be perceived as though Mr. Dele Farotimi is being persecuted, whilst the illustrious image too of Mr. Afe-Babalola is being said to have been also bashed in a very, very, I want to say, in a very, very not so acceptable or palatable way. So it's not something I'm very, very happy about. So I'm very, very happy that the trial of Mr. Dele Farotimi is not something that's going to be concluded, and we are not going to be looking towards him being maybe incarcerated or not incarcerated at some point. So at this stage, I'm so super excited, and I'm even finding how to control my happiness.
It feels like such a relief indeed. Now let's talk about the implications of the withdrawal. In the light of, criminal justice system, does Babalola have the sole right to drop the case without the involvement of the state? Hence Farotimi was arraigned on criminal grounds. Okay,
we usually say that when it comes to criminal matters, as different from civil matters, the case belongs to the state. It is usually the state against Mr. Dele Farotimi in one way or the other. Sometimes it is couched as the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or it is couched as the state of Ekiti or Ekiti State against Dele Farotimi, depending on which of the cases we are presently looking at. So with respect to the case instituted by the states, we usually say that it is only the state that has the power to actually withdraw the case against a Mr. Dele Farotimi, for example. But that is when we are looking at it formally. We must also remember that usually the complainant is the one pressing charges, and the complainant actually can decide to throw a lot of cogs in the wheel when the trial comes up proper. So that is why the courts will usually just also accept, and the law also gives the way for the complainant to withdraw charges. And when the complainant withdraws charges, even though the case is that of the state almost like a domino just falls in place and follows suit, especially when it is not a case that really attacks public policy. If it is a case that attacks public policy, for example, if it is a rape case or it's a murder case, if the complainant says he's withdrawing the case, sometimes the state will still say, yeah, we now have to remind you that this case belongs to us and it is not your own. So in that kind of situation, when it really dastardly affects public policy, the state will usually still want to press on with the case despite the fact that the complainant has stopped to press charges.
All right, but then, in this case, what about in Farotimi's case? Will Farotimi be within his rights, if he decides to push back for damages?
With what I'm saying on ground, I feel that it may be a difficult one because I don't see him doing that. But as for if we are looking at it legalistically, that whether it's within his right to, definitely everybody is within their rights to seek for any sort of relief or press for any sort of, if he wants to seek damages for, maybe he's saying that his right to freedom of his movement pursuant to Section 35 of our Constitution has been hampered or tampered with. He too has a right to actually press for that, but realistically speaking, I don't see that being the case.
All right, now speaking of you as a lawyer now, what would you make of the case? Do you think that, Farotimi was overreaching in his allegations?
Oh, that's a difficult one for me to say, but it's really difficult, and I'm saying this because I do not see him just a la carte going into thin air to manufacture what he alleged to have been the case. I feel that in order for him to have alleged, being a very, very reasonable person, there is serious possibility that he has evidence to back it up. So it's also possible that it may be the way he perceived it. So a lot of give and takes, a lot of speculations and all can actually really go into this. So if you leave me to my own will, I feel that maybe he has something, and it's very, very also possible that it may not also be as he perceived it, that it eventually went down. So it's neither here nor there. It's both here also and also there.
Okay, since it's neither here nor there, what advice would you have for both parties?
First, I feel that both parties, in some form or the other, have eaten the humble pie. In some form or the other, have proven that they are actually persons that can be appealed to and spoken to, because this influence of telling Mr. Dele Farotimi to not continue with this case is with the revered, my ancestor-in-law, the revered Afe-Babalola, to not continue with the case. It didn't start today. I'm very, very happy that eventually he also yielded to the appeals by numerous illustrious Nigerians. And I'm also very, very happy with the way Mr. Dele Farotimi too has approached the case. Everything that the court told him to do, he shouldn't talk to the media and all on this case, he also abided by it. So I'm very, very happy with the way both parties have actually handled the situation. I also pray that it continues in this way, and whenever wrongs are to be alleged against the judiciary, we should also still look for other ways to deal with it in a way that it doesn't put our judiciary in a terrible, terrible light, because it is about the only judiciary that we have, and it is the only hope that the common man has. And if a person that is put in the situation of Mr. Dele Farotimi, for example, if he has the truth to say about maybe one judge or the other, one big lawyer or the other, that are actually trying to pull the system down, or they are trying to do wrong by the system, I feel that they should be encouraged and they should be allowed to come up with such information, so that it will all go well for all of us, because it is in the best interest of all Nigerians that the judiciary is known to be able to deal without bias in any form, regardless of whether a person is highly placed or not.
Splendid advice there. Thank you so much, Justice, for speaking to us on this particular issue.
It's my pleasure.